Okay, here we go. Hey, we are Straight Facts Homie live on YouTube, about to react to the Patriots win over the Dolphins in Week 17. I still get kind of weirded out with, because Week 17, for all we've known, is the last week in the season, but it's the second last week to the season, and I keep forgetting how many weeks are on the season. But anyway, guys, let's get to it. Going to record on YouTube. We're going to go about 15, 20 minutes or so here, talk about Pat's Dolphins and that they still have a chance. We'll do it right now in a 3, 2. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, into the one and only Straight Facts Homie, a 60-minute NFL TV show coming your way. My name is Mason Souza, alongside, as always, the guys that know their stuff in the NFL and beyond. There's Walter Sabina and John Lyons. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're live streaming on YouTube as we speak. Join us in the comments after we do in the first quarter after every Patriots game. I guess just another week of live streaming for the Patriots. Maybe they make the playoffs. There could be 2 weeks. We'll talk about that and everything else in between. So without any further ado, let's just get right into it right now. Patriots finally beat the Dolphins for the first time. It seems like, what, 3 years now? 3-4 years or so. A huge win. And all of a sudden, they are the 7th seed in the playoffs with destiny in their hands. Walter, let's begin with you. Your takeaways from the Patriots 23-21 win over Miami today.
Yeah, most importantly, just getting the win. You know, you had prepared all week to not face Tua, who was in concussion protocol. So that kind of put the game in your favor, knowing you're going up against Teddy Bridgewater. Your defense had been playing well. You were just hoping your offense would be able to put together some scores while your defense can limit Teddy Bridgewater in that offense. And you know, they did at times. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was a great offensive performance, but they did just enough to win. Obviously, a 23-21 win. But, you know, just kind of going down the list, only 14 first downs, 5 of 13 on third down is a little bit better than they've been doing. They got a touchdown in the red zone today. Were they 2 for 2 in the red zone? So perfect.
Yeah,
in the,
I think so. Yeah,
perfect in the year 2023 when it comes to red zone efficiency. So let's take that and run with it and see how they finish in Week 18. But you know, I think the most important thing for me is they got the win to stay in the playoff hunt. They pretty much control their own destiny coming into the week. Win and you're in, pretty much, because they own the tiebreakers over most teams that are still in the running. But, you know, I just look at these offensive types of performances where Mac Jones will drop back. They send a blitz and he kind of bails in the pocket or throws it away. Or too many times today I've seen, you know, third and distance, and instead of trying to throw to the sticks to get the first down, he's throwing a quick check down to Ramondre Stevenson, who's either not even out of his route out of the backfield yet, or he's just not paying attention or dropping it. So just little things like that. I mean, I still don't think this team's a playoff team, and if they get into the playoffs, you know, anything can happen. But you know, we're looking at either playing Buffalo or Cincinnati, Kansas City, one of those teams, and I just don't think still what I'm seeing out of the offense is enough to beat a team like that. Beating a team like the Dolphins today without Tua, and then eventually going down to Skylar Thompson after Teddy Bridgewater gets hurt, you know, your defense can just, you know, pin their ears back and go after him, and you know, don't screw things up on offense. So while it's a good win to stay in the 7th seed, I'm not fully sold on what the team's able to do against a fully healthy team, because this obviously wasn't, you know, the Miami Dolphins team that was fully healthy. And I know we've had some issues in the secondary as well. So both teams weren't healthy. You know, kudos to us for getting the win over a Dolphins team that we seem to have lost the second game, you know, second time we played them this season, dating back to what was like 2018, 2017 or something like that. So it was a big win for us overall to keep the 7th seed. And, you know, it all comes down to one final game next week in Buffalo.
Yeah, the Patriots' first win against the Dolphins since Cam Newton's first start in September of 2020. So it's been a while, folks. And look, I think this was a good performance by the Patriots defense. They give up 21 points, but they have a pick 6. They have another interception by John Jones, 2 sacks. And look, I get it. Teddy Bridgewater started. He got hurt. Thompson came in. They weren't playing anywhere near the caliber of quarterback that they would have if Tua had been healthy. But let's just look at that Kyle Duggar pick 6. To me, that's the biggest moment in the game, because the Patriots come out, they score on their first drive, they go up 7-0. They look pretty good on that first drive. Tyquan Thornton with a great catch down the sideline. Then their offense kind of sputters out. They had one other good drive, and then they had that 3rd and 1 where they went play action and Mac Jones got sacked, took them out of field goal range. And it felt like after that, their offense didn't really do anything until really late in the fourth quarter. So at the time of Kyle Duggar's interception, there's 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter, and they're down 14-10. So this is an instance where if Miami goes down and scores there, they might put the game away, as frustrating as the Patriots offense had played. So that was the biggest moment to me, but it was also, I think, really important that I thought Mac Jones played pretty well. Now, he didn't play consistently well all game, and the offense didn't either, but in spurts, they looked as good as they've looked all season. That first drive, they looked great. That drive up until they did play action on 3rd and 1, they looked great up until that point. He had a great throw to Hunter Henry on that drive. And that final touchdown drive, Mac with a great throw to Jacoby Myers down the right sideline. The touchdown throw was a great throw and catch. So they obviously were not consistent the whole afternoon, but I think those moments where they did look good, they looked as good as they've looked all year. So obviously at this point, we're in week 17. We know the offense isn't good. What we're looking at now is for signs for the future and things that they can build on. And I think there were some moments there, especially Mac to Jacoby Myers and Mac to Tyquan Thornton, that I think they can build on moving forward. And like I said, I thought it was a pretty good day for the defense too.
I agree with that last point, John, about looking at star players that can propel this team into not just a playoff contender, but a place where, like, okay, I want to play for that team because they have some key pieces. Look at Kyle Duggar, just a superstar. I'm not even going to say in the making anymore. A superstar. That is his third defensive touchdown of the year on that pick six, evading tackles. Teddy Bridgewater tries to make a tackle on the play, and his return is the reason why Skylar Thompson is in the game for Miami. And actually, somewhat, if you want to argue, Ted Bridgewater leaving the game, and Thompson coming in looking inaccurate with throws here and there. A throw to Tyreek Hill, which I think maybe he could have made a better try on the attempt where the John Jones insane toe tapping interception came. I think you could throw flip a coin, put that on either play of the quarterback or the receiver. But if you want to say the quarterback, Duggar inadvertently caused that play to happen as well with Thompson coming into the game. And like I said, 3 defensive scores that leads the league. No one has more than 2, I believe, at this point. Obviously, that would make the case with Duggar having 3. I mentioned John Jones' interception. You mentioned Thornton, great toe-tapping catch down the sideline, keeping his feet in bounds. And that Myers catch somewhere in the third quarter, I might say that's Mac Jones' best throw of the year. It was a 25-yard pass, but on a rope. Three Dolphins players around Myers on the play in stride. I got out of my seat on that throw. I'm like, all right, here we go. There's Mac of last year, of rookie Mac Jones year. That, like, okay, where has this been? He was accurate when he needed to be, but there was some throws here and there, inconsistency. Walter, to your first take about execution, still play calling here and there, a little bit passing at the line of scrimmage too much. I liked what they did in the second half against the Bengals because basically they had to. They were down 22-0, and it's like, all right, let's throw it deep, see what happens. At the same time, they were throwing it deep first 3 weeks of the season, and they were turning the ball over a lot. So can we try to find that healthy medium? And I think they did for the most part in this game. And, the 89-yard or 87-yard touchdown drive to basically ice the game to make it a 9-point game, their longest drive of the season. Quite arguably, you could say their best drive of the season. So there was some signs of improvement. And, that's a Dolphins defense that gets at the quarterback at one of the highest rates in the league. And, Mac didn't hit guys on deep balls that often, but he had the right idea. 6-7 men coming. You throw the ball up, give Thornton a chance, give Aguilar a chance on a streaking pass. So didn't turn the ball over. Looked solid back there. A little bit inaccurate here and there, but a win nonetheless. And like I said, destiny is in their hands. It's just going to take a miraculous effort against the Buffalo Bills with still home field to secure. But that is next week. That's later in the show when we pick it. But all in all, lowercase I impressed with the Patriots' performance against the Dolphins on Sunday.
Well, the one play of the game that I kind of want to give some credit to Mac Jones for is that 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. They came to the line, looked like they were going to kind of run it up the middle, had a tight formation, and then he kind of shifted everyone back out. And on the left side, you see Jacoby Myers there as a linebacker because you got a cornerback on the other side lining up with Tyquan Thornton or whoever it was. And now this linebacker is kind of in this purgatory land because he doesn't know whether to go back inside or go outside to Jacoby Myers. And now Jacoby Myers is waving his arm. And I don't know what the play was, but Mac Jones just said, listen, I've got this advantage out there, takes the snap, immediately throws it up, to Jacoby Myers, who comes down with it for the touchdown. So I don't know if that was a planned play to kind of shift them and hopefully get a mismatch, or that was Mac Jones picking it up. So, that's the kind of things that we got Mac Jones for. He's intelligent enough to make adjustments at the line instead of, this is what we're calling, run it as is. So when they made that shift, they got the mismatch they wanted, threw it up. So kudos to Mac Jones for doing that. But for every good play there is like that, John said it in his first take, where you go back to the first half, Mac Jones gets sacked on first down. So 2nd and 19, Ramondre Stevenson gets the run up the middle picks up 18. So now you're sitting at 3rd and 1. Your running back just picked up 19 yards. I'm sure he can get one more yard to kind of reset the downs and get first down again. And they do a play action and Mac Jones gets sacked and they end up punting it. So, you see these plays that make you scratch your head. Like, why are we, running play action or even passing it on 3rd down when our running back just did that? I don't know if you're trying to keep them on their toes or what, but it almost seems like all year you've had, for one good play, you've had 2 or 3 bad plays, and it's like one step forward, 2 steps backward. So, like I said, we've got our work cut out for us. Good week of preparation as we head into Buffalo, but things like this aren't going to cut it against a team like Buffalo, especially depending on what happens on Monday night. If they lose to the Bengals, now they've got to play for everything because they still want a shot at home field advantage in the AFC. So, I just don't want the 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards for the Patriots offense in a big game against Buffalo, because again, they control their own destiny, but you're going to need a better performance than you did today, the last couple of weeks, if you really want to beat Buffalo and solidify your spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, Mason, I think it was you that mentioned we saw some rookie year Mac Jones flashes today. And I think one piece of that is they spread the ball around really well. Tyquan Thornton had 3 catches. Hunter Henry had 5. Jacoby Myers had 6. Damian Harris got in the act, had 3 catches for 18 yards. And Kendrick Bourne, last week he had 100 yards receiving. This week I thought he was underused a little bit again, and he only had 1 catch, but it was an impactful 16-yard catch for a first down. So they spread the ball around. I thought having Damian Harris back made a big difference. And look, Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris have potential to be good running backs, especially I think Pierre Strong, but they're just not ready yet. And they were thrust into that role over the past few weeks. So to have Damian Harris back, I think really complimented Ramondre Stevenson well. And overall, look, they only ran for 77 yards today. Not a great rushing day, but like I said, the few drives they had where they played well and they were able to score, they looked pretty good. And I just think that's something that as we look towards not just the end of the season, but the future, you just want to see that consistency, because we went through stretches this season where we didn't even see them have good flashes, or we'd see them have one good game like against Minnesota and then have a very bad offensive game the next week against Buffalo. So what you want to see now is they had some flashes today, some flashes against Cincinnati. Try to translate that into a good offensive game across the board against Buffalo, which if they're going to make the playoffs, they're really going to need.
You're watching Straight Facts, homie. We are live streaming on YouTube for the first quarter, as we do after every Patriots game. Join us there, Straight Facts, homie, on Facebook and Twitter as well. We have time to go around the room one more time, about 5 minutes or so. Looking in the comments, Shane, wonderful contributor, always joining the show here. Imagine if Jacoby didn't lateral the ball, yes, in Las Vegas. Well, obviously that would still be overtime, but the Patriots, if they win that game, I believe playoffs are locked up at this point.
Imagine if they stopped the Raiders on a 4th and 10 coming out of the 2-minute warning.
A lot
got into the lateral.
Absolutely, you're right. A lot of things that the Patriots ifs could have done, and they may have double-digit wins at this point in the season. And but like the NFL, really, they say, oh, you can't decide games on one play. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you actually can on some plays. So, and the Patriots are chock full of them this year. I want to ask you guys. Obviously, this is nitpicking, but this goes back to just the kind of question marks that we have for this team, and the not knowing exactly on the game on the same plan. With 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, they have a 4th and 4. They have a 47-yard field goal attempt coming, but they decide to go for it. Put the game out of reach, or I don't know if Mac Jones is thinking, if I just fall down, the clock runs out. But if it's a turnover on downs, the clock stops. That's what happens. He rolls out, gets sacked very quickly for a 10-yard sack, and now worst case scenario, Dolphins have a better field, and now, it's still a 2-possession game, but rather than make it a 12-point game where the Dolphins need 2 touchdowns, they just need a touchdown, which they did end up getting. And then they're onside kick away from a field goal to win. And I'm like, all right, here we go. Miami Miracle Part 2. What else can happen this Patriots season? But confusion with that. Your thoughts on that? Did you like to kind of ice the game, or your thoughts on their thoughts with 2 minutes left?
Well, I mean, Nick Folk, he missed the extra point after the pick six. He hit a couple of his field goals. I don't know if they just wanted to try to ice it, and Miami just countered with a good play of their own to get some pressure on Mac Jones. It seemed like whenever the Miami Dolphins were able to bring pressure on Mac Jones, he was flustered in the pocket. So you're thinking, one more play, have Mac Jones throw it up, knock it down, whatever. So I think it was more of a better play call for the Miami Dolphins. Again, we don't know what the Patriots were trying to run there, but who knows what could have gone wrong in that situation with the way things have gone this season for the Patriots. But 29, I guess maybe they didn't have too much faith in Nick Folk. I don't know why, because he's outside of extra points. He seems like he's been automatic on field goals for the majority of the season. But I think ultimately it was just a better drawn up play by the Miami Dolphins to put pressure on Mac Jones. And, he's just going to tuck it and probably not risk a turnover himself. And he'll take a 10-yard loss and turn the ball over and make Miami come down and beat you instead of throwing a ball up. They intercept it, return it for a touchdown. Who knows? So they're just maybe a decent play call by the Patriots, but better play call by the Miami Dolphins to kind of counter that.
Yeah, I think this was the Patriots saying they really think Skylar Thompson sucks because they didn't think he was going to lead 2 scoring drives against them to beat him at the end of the game. They probably didn't even think he would lead 1, which he did do, and credit to Hunter Henry and the Patriots for recovering that onside kick. But look, I would have kicked the field goal there either way, because you go up by 12, you at least force Miami to score 2 touchdowns to beat you instead of just a touchdown and a field goal beat you. I think, especially at that point, Miami had no timeouts. So the likelihood of them leading 2 touchdown drives, even if one of them was on a short field after an onside kick, much lower than a touchdown and then a field goal drive. So I would have kicked the field goal there. Maybe they were a little gun shy because Nick Folk had missed a PAT earlier that half, but he had also made one. So I would have kicked the field goal there. I didn't like that decision at all. I thought the Patriots coaches defensively overall did a good job. Offensively, inconsistent as always. Special teams, all right. They had that one running into the punter penalty, which I didn't like that call anyway, because the punter bobbled the snap. But I would have kicked the field goal there. I thought that was the wrong decision. I think it really just came down to they had no fear that Skylar Thompson was going to lead 2 scoring drives.
Like you said, they did giving up 1, but great hands team on the onside kick. All in all, personally, I had low expectations for this team this year, and they've kind of met those low expectations. But all in all, I would not have expect come week 18 next week that they're playing for their playoff lives. So successful season? No, I can't even possibly use that phrase because, this has been a disaster all around. But at the end, they are a 500 team, and something lost in all of this. First 2 minutes of the game, the forward progress that wasn't a forward progress against the Bengals. And obviously that no harm, no foul. Dolphins ended up punting. So that ended up being nothing. But yeah, that's just, I'm like, all right, here we go. Just anyway, not to be like, oh, the refs are out to get us. Can we just have some consistency, just a little bit? Like Walter, you mentioned the Patriots now 100% in the red zone, new year, new team. Can we get a little bit consistency from the referees? That's all I got to say. Any other further remarks? I believe that's it. That's the Patriots and Bills next week, and we'll pick them later in the 4th quarter. And as it stands currently, yes, Shane, again in the comments, Patriots and Kansas City as it stands. Obviously that would be if they get past the Bills this upcoming week. But that is Patriots and Dolphins recap. Thank you for watching on YouTube. For everyone else on Vimeo and beyond, stay for the 2nd quarter as we recap everything week 17 right now on Straight Facts Only.